You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
SCP space 1.1 space 1.8 space 1.06.
I am not a synth.
The wasteland is a post-apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, frozen atomic waste. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waste.
Hello and welcome to the 472nd edition of the Fallout feed. I am Andrew, joined by a flock of my favorite Fallout folks. Tonight I've got Jess. What's up, Jess?
Hey, Andrew. Greets, everybody.
And also Ray. What's the haps, Ray?
Hello.
Tonight on the show, got a little gameplay right off the top as per usual. Then we'll check in with Radioactive Rebecca with part 3 as she goes through the Diamond City terminals. Also prepared a quick game time. A popular hit, The Map at a Wasteland, makes a comeback. Also, Iguana Bits galore and a couple of shouts on our way out the door. So why don't we go ahead and roll into it and say, hey, Ray, did you get a chance to play any video games this week?
I have played some video games.
What did
Plural?
you play? More than
Just
one?
barely plural. Yeah, it has been predominantly Fallout London, especially since I've gotten all of my mods sorted out, and now my load times are particularly quick. So it's much more pleasurable. Before I got things sorted, I would play as long as I could before I would, was getting too frustrated with the long load times.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I would quit and then go play Cyberpunk.
You and several people in Discord had been mentioning, that the load times were just getting longer and longer as you went.
Yeah. Well, and when I got into some of the other sections of the map, particularly Hackney, it was particularly long.
Mm-hmm.
It was even longer loading time there than it was in London. Not
I
quite
think
sure why,
said,
but
like 2 minutes or something.
yeah, there were some
buildings?
times where I had timed. It was just under 2 minutes. It was like a minute and 57 seconds, and so I couldn't take too many of those, and it was really, it caused me to be very judicious about what doors I went through.
Yeah, right. Would it be worth it going into that pub? Especially because the exterior buildings a lot of them are really awesome. The interiors can be neat, but some of them are small. And so if you, all that time to go into a place with a couple of chairs and a bar stool, no.
Yeah. And you can't really tell by looking at it if it's a door into a cell or a door that's just going to swing open.
Oh, right. There are some of those as well.
And so it was, it just got a little frustrating, but it's all good now. Now, so instead of doing any questing at all, now I'm just running around looting the place and,
Exploring with abandon.
Yeah. I did get mixed up with some cannibals.
The beef-eaters?
The beef-eaters.
Oh, my.
And came away with an awesome new outfit.
Oh, I can't wait to see.
Does
I
it have
haven't met them yet.
a big frilly neck thing?
I did post a picture in the Discord. So it looks like the coyote hat that you get from the Vulpus guy in New Vegas.
Oh, nice. I love that hat.
Yeah, that's very Vulpus.
Andrew was running around with. And then they also have a skin cape. And so it's a cape made out of little bits of skin from various people they've snacked on.
Who do you fuck with? I fuck with.
Why did I not think that you were going to join them? You said you got an outfit. I'm like, oh, I just thought, like a beefier outfit, like Andrew's saying, with the big old ruffle or something. But no, you joined them. It's a skin suit. Is that like a dingo hat?
Yeah, it just called a taxidermy hood, I think. But
It's cool looking. I like this the cape until you said it was skin.
Yeah.
It's like a.
The bummer is that it covers up the cigarette over my ear. And
Which
I can
is
switch.
awesome.
So I think I've got a cigarette over right ear and a cigarette over left ear that you can equip as your apparel.
That's some of the attention to detail in this game that we were talking about. The idea that you can actually have a cigarette behind your ear as a wearable item, like they've just added so many little things like that you can really customize your character.
Yeah, it's really been fun. Half the reason why I persevered through, the load time issues that I had, abandoned Fallout 4 Next Gen for,
Mm-hmm.
Was because their content was so interesting and so compelling.
Do you want to get into now how, what you use to solve that issue, or do you want to talk about your mods altogether in a little bit?
Well, so kind of as I sit right now, I've got the XSE plugin preloader in Buff Out 4.
Those two go together. The preloader is a dependency for Buff Out 4.
Yeah. And I added the MCM mainly for the photo mode.
I did too. I added the MCM to get photo mode running as well. Yeah.
So I've got the photo mode. I downloaded the full Baka framework.
So instead of what comes with the game, you added more to it or something?
Yeah, because it has the one that came with the game, I don't know what they were actually doing with that because it didn't have any of the DLLs to support it.
Mm-hmm.
So now I've got all that. That seems to be working well. I was running the high FPS physics, and that helped with load times a little bit, but not as much as the combination of high FPS physics and the long load time fix.
See, I've got to try the long load time fix. So I'm only using the high FPS physics. And, when you get into the INI for it, it has some options. Like you can turn off black load screens and you can stop animations on load screens. But since there aren't many animations anyway, on the Fallout London load screens, it's not a big deal. But all those little things, seem to add up a bit. But I think when I get deeper in, I'm going to have to do the long load times fix as well.
And then I saw a posting from Gopher that he had iHUD working. He had there was a conflict that he ran into with the HUD framework.
Right.
But he managed to get a patch. And so now I've got HUD framework, the patch, and immersive HUD running. So now my screen is clear and clean. And
that is lovely. Nice. iHUD is so good for most everyone who plays on PC listening has used it, and even on Xbox, because I always use it on Xbox too for any Bethesda games. But if you don't have a photo mode set up, it's a great alternative to just be able to get rid of your HUD most of the time.
So it's still so aggravating that the butterfly knife is such a good weapon, and I took blacksmith, so I've got it upgraded. So now it's serrated, and I painted it black.
It's one of the best melee weapons in the game.
It's massive, but the animation is so maddening.
Have you seen the London specific Nexus mods page now? They added it as a game.
Oh no, I haven't looked at it.
So they added it as a category. I've been checking every day. They're adding 5 to 10 mods pretty much. I think they're up to like 130 last I checked.
Yeah.
2-3 days ago, I thought of you and I should have let you know there is a butterfly knife animation fix to stop it.
Sweet. I had been checking the regular Fallout 4 page,
Mhm.
and hadn't seen anything. But
Yeah, they
I'll have
added
to
a separate
look that up,
section.
because that is hopefully it doesn't do away with it altogether. Because it's a cool animation. It's fun to watch, and I don't mind it. It goes through the thing when you put the knife away.
Mhm.
And so that's cool. But it's when you get into idle, and the idle just runs it constantly.
Just starts going. Yeah, it really does.
And yeah, so if I can get the idle to go away, then it'll be the perfect weapon.
Yeah.
But I also found something that hopefully iHead will help with. So there's a very annoying piece of clothing that you get during your questing on the main quest line
Okay.
that announces every time you go from first person to third person. There's this little thing that pops up on the screen that says, "I am now in first person." And then it'll play an animation. "I am now in third person."
Why would you want that? What is
I
that?
have no idea. It's only when you have this one particular piece of headwear.
That's
And
hilarious.
it was like, somebody's just being mean. So, but it's a fascinating world space, and it's fun to have a game that you don't know what's happening.
Right. We really don't. It's all new. There's a whole new plot and story. It's almost like not knowing who the Institute is again. And like
Yeah.
all that stuff, because these days you hear so often about how Fallout 4's story is, oh, the weakest one and blah, blah, blah. But honestly, that sense of mystery we had when first playing Fallout 4,
Yeah.
you can't beat it. Like more than the other games, there was such a mystery about what's happening in the Commonwealth. And
Right.
Fallout London definitely has that feel.
Yeah, because you really expected them to be the Commonwealth boogeyman.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, it's fun running around, finding all the new stuff, and, running into things that you didn't expect.
169 mods now available in the Nexus Fallout London section. So there you go. Definitely check that out. They're doing some specific things. I mean, a lot of them are modifications or patches for other mods, as you can imagine. Like specific body slide settings and redoing the clothing and, gun rebalancing and Beef Eater armor shadow fix. Fix for the Beef Eater armor not casting shadows. I mean, random little things.
Yeah.
But some good stuff. One important one I should mention that you may or may not have seen or know. Have you patched anything with the beer mats yet?
No, I haven't done any patching
Okay,
other
so
than the iHead.
right, so the beer mats, have you collected any?
No.
Okay, well, good, then it hasn't hurt you. But there are some issues. So you know how sometimes with the implementation of you collect this and something happens, and sometimes those values aren't quite right. Happens with the base Bethesda games all the time. Well, the beer mats, they're kind of like like a bobblehead or special magazine collectible where each one unlocks a perk. The one that causes the most, that has the most issues. So I think it's the one you get at, is it the Hound?
Fuck the water. Bring me wine.
I'm forgetting where, but it's one of the early ones. It's the combat coaster. It's supposed to give you a 5% combat bonus with all weapons. It gives you minus 50%.
Oh, yikes.
It cuts your damage in half with all weapons. So very bad. But obviously that's something you're going to work on in the first patch. And there are a couple of patches on the Nexus for it already. So I'm using one called Beer Mats Fix that basically recalibrates the values on all of them. Most of them are correct, but a few of them it says 5% and it actually does 50. Some of them it's just not implemented quite right. Or like that combat coaster. The combat coaster, you get it early on. Yeah, that is very bad a fix. So that's a
Yeah.
good one. And I got glowing beer mats and glowing magazines to make them easier to collect.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't gone in any bars because I didn't want to go through the loading screen.
Right, that makes sense. But yeah, all the beer coasters were done by my friend Charo. So I have a specific need to collect them all.
There you go.
But so awesome. Well, and it going well. Anything else happening in there? I mean, I know we're trying not to spoil the story. It's early days yet. A lot of people aren't jumping in, but
Yeah. So I did get a settlement. So there's an airport fairly close to the Vagabond main hideout area.
Mhm.
And so you meet a very interesting character there and go through a little quest, and it unlocks the airport as a settlement for you.
Do you have a companion yet, too? Is that one of the characters that can be a companion?
I wouldn't, even if I could.
Okay, that's fair. That's totally fair. Well, fear not, dear listeners. I and others will tell you about the companions.
So I may go get Winston and then have him stay at the airport
Hmm.
because he is a cute little dog.
Yeah, so his name's
I
actually
like English. Is
his
it
name is
Churchill?
Churchill. We were
Okay.
calling him Winston last week. I meant to add that as a PSA. There's a character named Winston that you meet with the Vagabonds. And Winston is
yeah.
his nickname. And then
Yeah.
Churchill is the dog, but obviously,
Okay. Yeah.
Churchill. Makes sense. There's a
Um,
little Easter egg. Did you know you can meet Alistair Tenpenny in the game?
only because he's listed as a voice actor.
Yeah, right. We were looking at that page earlier. Well, you can. I won't spoil anything, but it's very interesting. And yeah, Alistair Tenpenny across the pond before he came to the Capital Wasteland.
So it's it's been exciting. I did manage to get through Act 1 on Cyberpunk.
Mhm.
So now I'm having to deal with Johnny Silverhand again. Speaking of annoying companions,
Yeah, you can't get rid of him.
unfortunately not. But thankfully he doesn't. He's not. He never gets in your way, and never steals your XP. But other than that, a little bit of Skyrim, a little bit of Starfield, but mostly just London and Cyberpunk.
Mhm.
So
Cyberpunk is always calling. I mean,
and sometimes it's easier to ignore it than others, but once I get into it, it's hard to not go back to it. And especially since there wasn't a lot of action going on in the Fallout London game. Sometimes I just have a need for a little gratuitous violence, and so I can always find that in spades in Cyberpunk.
yeah, it's a great RPG and a lot of fun there. I mean, I still haven't played, so I can't say, but it's the RPG I feel like people I know are now going back to the most for second and third playthroughs at this point.
Yeah.
Kind of
There's a lot of different ways you can play it. So each one is definitely unique. My last few times have all been Cyber Runners, and going through now, and I can't hack anything because I don't have the cyberware for it. It's a little crazy, but I have a very sharp sword.
And just to clarify the setting, because there was some question in Discord that I wanted to answer, Fallout London is set in 2237. So that's shortly before the events of Fallout 2 in the US. Because the people like, how old is Alistair Tenpenny? That would be 100 years. But no, it's about 50 years before, right? 40? Yeah, 40 years before Fallout 3. If it's 2237.
Yeah, and he's an old man in New Vegas,
Yeah, Fallout 3, yeah,
3.
very old man. Or at least he looks it, eh, Alistair, eh? Skincare routine. Out there making fun of ghouls looking like that? I don't think so.
Yeah. So that was about it for my gameplay.
Awesome,
Right
awesome.
on. Thank you very much, sir. How about you, Jess? Did you get a chance to play any video games this week?
I have only played Fallout 76 and Fallout London myself. Yeah, pretty much just those. The only ones worth mentioning. So Fallout 76, I am not technically on Scorecation, but I made some major headway and I unlocked the mural. So like I said, I mean, to me, that's we finished. Thank you, Mo. Appreciate it.
Scorecation! Scorecation!
You're out there with like
I'm just trying to give you half a one, because
scratching. Yeah,
you're
I'm level 96.
90% there. So I'm giving you. Wait, can I get you 96%?
Scorecation!
There you go. Perfect.
Thank you, because I didn't really earn it yet till I get 100. But I got the last regular board. I unlocked my mural.
That's amazing. Good job.
Yeah, I'm psyched.
This is the first time you've ever beat me on a scoreboard, I think.
Oh my God, maybe second. I feel like I might have a season or two ago as well.
Oh, you did? Wow.
You've been dragging a little, but I don't know. Maybe not. That might just be in my head. I won't give myself undeserved kudos.
the one where you bought most of it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, like the glass ceiling, the glass walls.
That's
yeah.
right.
This one, did I buy a couple levels along the way? Yeah, a few. Sometimes you got that rounding error. You know what I mean? You make it like 51. You're like, well, that should be 55, shouldn't it? You fix that, but I didn't buy too many. But yeah, a lot of good grinding in 76. That was fun. Haven't done a whole lot else in 76, just pictures and grinding. I still haven't, even though it's been a month now, finished the new main story. Like I should have done that a while ago for Skyline Valley. I got halfway through, and then when I log in, I'm building, or I'm taking photos, or I'm doing events with friends. Like that's pretty much what it's been. And then of course with Fallout London coming out, that was a major distraction. Among other games, of course, getting those achievements. I'm still playing a lot of the small games. It's just that's the kind of summer it is. Some years are like that. But Fallout London. So last week we talked about it had just come out. I just barely started. Had got it installed and working, but hadn't made it very far. My main playthrough is probably only 5 hours in, 4.5, 5 hours in at this point. So not as much as it should be. Two reasons for that. First of all, the game of mods, playing, getting things working, trying different things, playing through, because I wasn't happy with a few things the first time, so I played through, the whole intro again to try to do it without crashing and get more stuff. You can actually, in the intro, you can get a pistol. There's a place you can get a pistol. You can get the walking cane, and I think you get a combat knife. So there are more weapons in the intro than I realized the first time. Is the pistol? I think the pistol is upstairs. So Steve had mentioned to us, make sure you go up the elevator in the first section. There's an elevator you can go up to the balcony. Did you see the balcony, Ray?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did it.
You did it? Just do it. Yeah. So that was a fun little Easter egg. The other funny thing about London is I have watched people playing it a lot too. Like I just check out the videos, seeing people like discover it, what they think of it, all that. So it's on my PC. And what that means is there's like a barrier to entry. Okay. If something's on your PC, you sit down and play. Something's on my PC. I finish my work day. I'm tired. The dog needs a walk and I need some food and I do that. And then I'm downstairs and I can either, it's like a choose your adventure, go up and left to the PC or go right to the couch and be very comfy. And I picked the couch a couple nights this week for, when I should have been picking the PC. So that's why I'm not as far in London as I should be. But I have done the intro stuff. I got photo mode installed and working. We had talked through a couple in the Discord. We've been talking a lot about various things we've discovered. I've got a few mods in. The ones we talked about before. Beer mats fix, glowing magazines, glowing beer mats. I've got a face light mod, obviously the MCM, photo mode, high FPS physics, and of course the buff out and plug a preloader, which is necessary. I have not reinstalled the whole Baka framework. I just made sure to add the ESM2, the plugins text, and all these since I've been installing them manually. I'm adding to the plugins text. It does seem over the course of the last week that a lot of people are starting to use the standard mod managers in order to, load mods and work with their Fallout London. And I mean, there were two reasons we resisted that at first, right, Ray? Part of it was the fact that Fallout London itself is a mod, and you're not going to install that through your mod manager. You're going to do that manually and get that running. But once you do that, if you don't have multiple versions of Fallout 4 installed, and you're not trying to keep all these other mods separate, it seems like people are getting it to work. Now,
Yeah, it should work. The trick is if you've got it, if you already have it set up and it's pointing to other locations, then that's when it starts injecting things into the game that it
That
can't
you don't want.
handle. Yeah.
But if it's just set up for the one, and there are a few videos out there for people on how to use Mod Organizer 2 with it, because we know there are some pretty strong Mod Organizer 2 fans out there to make that work with multiple installs. But it's probably safest with just the one, especially if you're using Vortex. But getting that stuff to work, that was part of my week. But like I said, I've been checking regularly about new mods because they're always tempting.
Yeah.
One of my biggest things was getting photo mode working though, because I was having trouble, and that's when I realized after the first 2 days, because I had to put in the MCM to run it after the first couple days, that wait, it can't find it because you have to manually update this plugins text, which is in your users local app data Fallout folder, blah blah blah, hidden files, and that's not something you have to worry about with mod managers. So that was a bit of a thing. The other big thing that I want to make sure to mention, and hey, listeners, if you're playing Fallout London right now or think about playing Fallout London anytime soon, grab a pen, okay? Because I have a tip for you. So one of the things that's really important to me, especially even more Fallout London than usual, is to get a vibrant, good-looking game, okay? I'm not running a full ENB with London, but the default is a little bit too washed out. Like I get Dreary Wasteland, omnipresent clouds, all that. But I need a little bit of vibrancy. I need a little bit of better contrast, and everything was kind of washed out. So I was trying to. There aren't many mods to actually do that on
Fallout 76 has
PC.
ruined you, Jess.
There's some stuff. Yeah, exactly. I mean, but I did it with Fallout 4, my last playthrough, using the NACX Lite and NACX, Natural Atmospheric Commonwealth Weathers there. NACX has some really great built-in tools. You do that with a holotape, but it also takes over all your weathers. Someone did get NACX working for London with a small patch, and so you could use that, but it would take over all the London weathers and bring in all the extra stuff you don't need. So there is a really common one people use, I think is called, what is it called? It's the simple brightness saturation contrast, which gives you a holotape. And so it's supposed to just pop in your inventory. It doesn't if you're in London, but you should still be able to craft it out of ChemBench. But what I discovered, okay, is that you can actually do this to the console. Now, PC players, I'm probably not telling you guys anything you don't know if you play PC a lot. But it's also not a very common code, because I'm looking up console commands, and I couldn't find this in any of the ultimate Fallout 4 console command list. I didn't find this command on almost anything. I finally found it deep in a couple of old Steam forum posts. So the command, write this down if you want it, is SCP. Do you know this one, Ray? Probably.
No, that's
Okay.
not one I've used.
So it's people say, a lot of people are saying it stands for, that it actually controls your brightness, your contrast, and your gamma. That's not what it actually does, what I found. It seems to be saturation, gamma, and contrast. So open up, it's tilde. It's the little squiggly line tilde to open up the console if you haven't done it. Type SCP space. And here are the settings I recommend for everybody to try. Okay, just write this down. Just try this and tell me if it doesn't make your game look better. Okay, SCP space 1.1 space 1.8 space 1.06. Hit enter and take a look. Okay, now I'm actually running it. I'm running it a little bit different. I like extra saturation. That's what the first number is. So I'm doing 1.2 or 1.3 saturation. And the second one is the gamma. You have to put a space between each of these. And 1.6 is fine too, but I found 1.8 just makes it pop a little more. And then contrast is really heavy-handed in the Fallout 4 engine. You can make an entire zone black too quickly, especially if you're not balancing with the gamma. So using a 1.0 something is better than just straight 1.1. 1.1 is fine, but if you're looking towards the sun, some things that are silhouetted are going to be too black. And if you hop into a building with that setting, it's going to be too black around the edges. But yeah, write that down, try it. Highly recommend just doing that in the game. And it made it look so much better for photos and everything. There's also, I mean, there are commands like set gamma and set this and that, but I couldn't get some of them to work that people had listed, and this one definitely did for me with the London engine. Besides that, like I said, early days quests, I am going the Vagabonds route. You can do both Vagabonds and Thames Haven. That's kind of your first big choice. You don't really have to choose one or the other, but if you do do one, it's good to kind of go through and do some of their quests and get a little ways in with them before you go to the other. Some things need done. I talk about mods. Let's talk about perks a bit, because a reason why I may need to start again is some perks are
Start
Okay.
again.
yeah. Let me put it this way: perks in Fallout London are dangerous. They are not fun, silly things. They are not for the faint of heart. They have some real effects and consequences. Okay, I say this because one of the perks I took, it sounds like a real laugh. It sounds great. I took a perk called Puritan. Okay, and have you taken this one, Ray? Maybe? No?
No.
Sure you didn't. Okay, so let me read you what Puritan says. Your body is a temple, +1 strength and endurance. This is reversed if the player drinks alcohol or uses chems, excluding Stimpaks, Radix, or Radaway. Like, well, you know what? I don't use chems that much. That's great. +1 strength and +1 endurance, and I'll just sell my chems. Okay, you know what? I'll play a bit of a Puritan. Well, here's the thing. Okay, normally in most Fallout games, what that would mean is when you're under the influence of chems, you get negative strength and endurance. Okay, when you're under the influence. No, if you use chems even once, it nukes your build. You are no longer a Puritan. And so it reverses it. So instead of +1, you get -1, -1. So I used drugs about 4 hours into the game, not knowing it was going to be a permanent thing. And I basically lost like 4 levels, if you think about it that way, because if I was at 4 strength and 4 endurance, I went down to 2 strength and 2 endurance, because it's not just losing 1 from where I was, it's losing 1 from my base. So yeah, you lose like 4 levels choosing that one. And I don't think you can get it back. I've tried sleeping. I've tried waiting for chems to wear off, play for a day. So I don't know. Anyway, that's just my complaint. But I thought I'd talk through the perks and what we thought about each of them. Would that be cool, right?
I found that. So I'm heading to chem resistant, because in Fallout 4, you could cheat speech checks.
Mm-hmm.
Do a quick save, try it. It was a percentage chance.
Right.
In this one, it's hard.
It's skill-based.
It's either, you've got enough in that skill or you don't. And
like saving Ricky early on with the Vagabonds. I don't even know if that's important or not, but that one you need to have an intelligence of 7 to do. And who has an intelligence of 7 right at the beginning of the game, right?
Yeah. No.
Ugh.
So yeah, I've definitely noticed that another warning is, I thought, well, look at these cigarettes. They give you bonus XP. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette.
Sounds great.
Until you become addicted.
Yeah, you can get addicted to dog food in this game. I mean, it's damn good dog food, but I don't know what they're putting in it.
And the thing that cracks me up is there's so many varieties of dog food available.
Yep, with gravy, chunky style with gravy, beef, chicken, pork. Anyway, So skills. I just want to go down, or the traits, I mean. So we don't need to talk perks, because perks are basically the same as Fallout 4. The perk menu, I don't really like the way it's set up quite as much, because I do like the column chart in Fallout
Yeah.
4.
Keep separated. It's easier to tell.
Scroll everything. It lets you hide the ones you don't qualify for, at least, but it still becomes a long list. But the traits, I mean, they're great. You can choose up to 2 at the beginning of the game. One of the first ones is Acrobat, which gives you plus 10 movement speed, but reduces carry capacity by 50 pounds. That one seems a little harsh to me, but movement speed is pretty great. So especially if you're like a melee character, I would think that Acrobat could be useful. But you're going to have to not be a hoarder, which for some of us is very, very hard.
Or have a follower.
Chemhead. Chemhead is the next one. And that gives -1 to all special stats when you aren't under the influence of chems. So basically you need to be high all the time. And, when you do that, it quadruples the length of time your chems last. So I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know.
Lots of chem stuff going on here.
Yeah. Claustrophobic is the third one on the list. This one, it sounds cool, but it's actually kind of awful. So you get +1 to all special. That's 7 bonus special points when you're outdoors. And when you're indoors, you get -1 to all special. So 7 less special points. So I'm not sure that's a good plan.
Are there more vendors outside or inside?
It's a fun thing though, right? I mean, like, I do like some of the way it would affect our gameplay. And when you think about a randomizer for Fallout London, like the Fallout London randomizer, that would make such a huge difference. Like being forced to play with some of these traits would be really interesting. 4 Eyes is the same as in Fallout 4. It's basically free money because it gives you +1 to perception when wearing glasses and -1 if you aren't. So you just put on glasses, you leave them on your face, and there you go. It's great if you're doing a lot of shooting and guns and you need that VATS accuracy, etc. But it's also just a +1 bonus, and you have to always be wearing glasses. Gifted. Now, is Gifted in Fallout 4 too as an option? No, it wouldn't be, right? Because we don't have the traits.
Yeah, we don't have traits.
Right. So but from earlier games, and I mean, this is what they brought forward, from the earlier games. So Gifted makes leveling up harder. You reduce your experience gain by 15%, 15% less experience all the time. But you get all special increased by 1, so that's 7 points. And there's no downside here besides lower leveling. So technically, that +1 intelligence is already going to counteract a little bit of that experience reduction. And if you then put, like, the first couple times you level up into intelligence, you'll negate the negative pretty quickly. So I thought that Gifted could be a really good one.
Yeah.
If you want more special points, because there just aren't enough to start.
And in Fallout 3, you were already going to bump up against a pretty low max level anyway.
Cap, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Gifted was always a just an automatic.
Right, because you knew you would get there. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I didn't take any traits with this character.
Okay, well that makes sense because they do come with some pretty big downsides. But I would say Gifted could be a pretty decent one, easy to counteract. I would say 4 Eyes is kind of a no-brainer. It's not really worth a lot though. So some of these others are better.
But I think there may be times where you have to wear something over your face that would take the glasses off.
That's a good thought. Heavy-handed. So this is a cool one for melee builds who don't use power attacks. It simply says increase all melee and arm damage by 20% across the board, but power attacks are meaningless. But a lot of melee users don't even think to use that upper right bumper or whatever you do on keyboard and mouse to do a power attack. So, I mean, it seems like 20% bonus damage to me. Let's see, Hoarder. Hoarder is great, and I took Hoarder. Hoarder is the one that you get 75 extra pounds of carrying weight in exchange for dropping your movement speed to 0 when you're over encumbered. So when you do get fully cucumbered, you can't move at all. But with 75 more pounds to work with, I feel like it's hard to get cucumbered. Just drop the thing, live on the edge. I think this is a great perk or trait. See, I'm doing the Andrew thing, Andrew. I'm calling them perks and mixing
Mixing
them up.
traits and perks and skills all around. I just blanked on what I was going to say. Did you... Yeah, shoot, I lost it. I did have something here. Is London going to be considered canon?
No, but
No?
they
Okay.
try to weave it in. They try to weave it into the actual canon, of course.
Okay.
The great thing is being outside of America, there's very little overlap, and so they touch on and they draw from the real canon, but they don't, the game doesn't get that deep into what happened outside of America besides, the broad strokes. So no, it's 100% not considered canon because that's up to Bethesda and things Bethesda makes.
Of course.
But they do their best to make it fit into canon.
And
So just,
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say a few more traits. If you guys want to go through them.
Sure.
I just thought I'd list them all. Kamikaze, that's a good glass cannon one. You get 50% more action points, or you regenerate them 50% faster, but you take 20% more damage. I would never do that one because incoming damage in London is serious. The base difficulty, Ray, I'm sure you found this. You seem to output more damage and you seem to take more damage, just like in base survival almost.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
A lot of death. I like it. And I'm only playing on normal.
Especially when you first start and you're, having to punch Brad shrews.
For sure. Night Owl. Night Owl is fun. You get +1 intelligence perception during the night, but less during the day. So again, that's one of those ones you probably wouldn't do unless you plan on sleeping all day every day and then, adventuring during the night. Numbskull is hilarious. I like this one. You get a +1 bonus to strength, endurance, and luck. So that's boosting 3 special stats. And the only negative is you can't have intelligence above 3. So if you're doing a
Idiot Savant build.
thank you, Idiot Savant build, it's perfect for that, right? I really like that. And
the one that I haven't seen as an option yet, this Lovecraft's Presence.
oh no, yeah, that's not one you can choose at the beginning. I wonder if you can get it during the game. Is it something you
No,
can?
I don't know if
pick
you
random?
have to. I don't know if it's something that you get if you find all the Cthulhu dolls.
Oh, probably the little glowing Cthulhu's. They are so adorable.
And it's very vague as to what it actually does. But it says 2 golden eyes stare back at you from the abyss. You feel great fervor and power when this mysterious doll is present in your possession.
Wow. Okay, yeah, I see that perk. You must get it when you collect all the Cthulhu dolls. That's just a fun little thing in the game. The collectibles and stuff you can get. So the last 2 traits you can choose at the beginning are Puritan, which, as I say, avoid like the plague, unless you can really truly be a Puritan and resist chems or alcohol. Alcohol counts too. 1 sip of whiskey and it's like Samson getting his hair cut. Sorry, over. Lose 4 special right away. And then the final one, which is awesome, but I would not recommend taking your first playthrough. Ray and I were talking about it separately. Sleepwalker. So Sleepwalker is kind of like the Wild Wasteland fun trait. It's Nukashine the trait. So every time, well, not every time, but occasionally when you're sleeping, you'll wake up in random places. And I don't know if they're set places in the game that were pre-chosen by the devs, or if it simply chooses any outdoor location and just kind of randomly pops you into any outdoor location. Because I've seen people who take this trait end up waking up in way high level areas outside of the range or completely far from home.
Yeah, which is all fine and good as long as you're not playing survival.
Right. Yeah, because then you could never fast travel back.
Yeah. But, a lot of these places, it would be wonderful to have a location discovered within, the walls. Because some of these sections of town are really hard to find the way in.
It's true. Yeah, London has a lot of walls dividing the different areas of town, and you got to find the way through because we don't have a jetpack or anything to get over them.
No.
Got to find cracks on the wall. So yeah, Sleepwalker could be really fun for multiple playthroughs, or if you want to spice it up. But I feel like first playthrough, and if you're on survival, definitely not. But first playthrough, it can be a little danger zone. So the ones I like the best, if I were to recommend anything, I would say Gifted seems like a great choice if you're willing to take a slight experience negative to get 7 more special points. It's so worth it.
Yeah, that's in every other game, Gifted is very solid.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you level up at a fairly good pace, mainly because there are so many locations to discover in this game that, I mean, just the 20 here, the 20 there that you pick up, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is thick with locations for sure. And is there a perk? So Explorer reveals all locations on your map. So I wouldn't take Explorer. You can only get that at like level 20 as well too. But is there a perk where no, that's Piper. If you have Piper with you, remember you get bonus relocation to discover.
Yeah.
But Piper's not in London, sadly.
No.
I wonder if another
Thankfully.
companion has a perk like that. Oh, sorry, thankfully. But yeah, so I just want to kind of talk through those, give my recommendations. Hoarder and Gifted are great. Heavy-handed if you're going melee, and maybe Kamikaze if you are going distance, but that seems like living on the edge, so I wouldn't necessarily do it. Ranged, I mean. But that's it for my gameplay and my learnings in the game so far.
Your learnings.
My learnings.
Did I ask about the food last week?
I don't think so. Cherry Bakewells are delicious. Yeah, so the food items, like the items in London are so good, Andrew. They capture so many, there's so many little references to, British things, but there are just all these foods that you cannot get here or only in the imported section. Everything from pink wafers to the Cherry Bakewells to variety of teas. I ruined tea immediately. So obviously, I'm known for ruining tea. But in one of the first rooms, there's a nice little tea set there with a teapot and a couple of bags. If you sit by it to have the tea,
you probably microwaved it, didn't you?
I would have. But no, I sat down. I'm like, I'm going to do this proper. And I sat down, and the physics in the game, you know how it can be sometimes. You sit down, and everything just flew everywhere. I'm like, no.
Tea in my face. Burns.
But yeah, the food is great. References are great. There are TARDISes in the game. Ray, you found 2 now, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little Doctor Who thing woven in, like all kinds of
things,
fun little
right.
things.
Cool. Very nice. Let's talk about my gameplay, shall we? Didn't do a lot this week. Absolutely no console playing. I don't think. No, incorrect. I did do one night of get all the workshops, let those collect gifts while you go and do a loop of all the scorched locations, and then go back and collect all those, Santatron stations before you log out. And it was like 4 hours of gaming one night. It was crazy how long I played it, but it was a good time. Like I mentioned last week, I wanted to get back and just do one good round of the Jingle Scorch. So I feel like I got a nice good round of that in, and I got like at least 3 of the what do they call them? Plastiforms or something? What is it?
Yeah, the plastiforms.
Plastiforms.
Yeah, basically blow mode.
Yeah. I got like 3 of those that I hadn't had yet, so that was really cool. And I got a few extras because I didn't read them all. You know what I mean? Like, usually I would collect stuff and then read them, but then like I forgot that you said that you get more because they have that thing where they try to give you ones you don't have, right? So if you get if you don't open them, you don't learn them, you get more chances of having multiples, right?
Yeah, that's often a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a thing this year. For the event currently, because they have changed it and they have made, different events where you're going to get ones you can actually learn one or get drops on ones you've already learned. So I don't know if that's the case now, but I haven't seen, usually when it's going on, because I did not farm many of the new plans at all. I killed a few Holiday Scorch for the dailies and that was it. But I haven't seen the warnings from friends at all this time saying, make sure not to read your plans so you can trade them. So I'm thinking that you can probably learn and still get drops this time. But I don't know for sure, but I think so.
Anyway, it was just inadvertent. Anyhow, that's just how I just happened to be playing that night. So that was quite a kick. I also got into a lot of Fallout 2, but still very little progress made in the actual main quest. It's a lot of me going out and sort of figuring out where things are in the general area, kind of poking my elbows around, opening the map a little bit. I mentioned some weird, like, blue religious guy popping in from the sky saying, "Oh, please don't forget about us." He's trying to push you along. But Lou wrote me and he was like, "Oh, don't worry about that guy. There's no actual time limit in this game like there is in Fallout 1. So I was like, "Oh, sweet. I can just tell that guy to fuck off and keep exploring out in the desert." No, I've been, having a real good time running around there. There is an issue with, I'm stuck in, which town is it? Either the Den or what is that real town? Klamath? How would you pronounce that? Is that a real place?
Klamath, yeah.
Klamath? You ever been there, Ray? What's that like?
It's in the mountains. There's some famous waterfalls there.
Oh, nice. And if you overlay Fallout 1 and 2 maps, how much do they overlap?
The lower section's quite a bit. The northern section, Fallout 2, goes much farther north.
Okay. I haven't done a lot of northern exploring.
Well, that would be up where Redding and Klamath are.
Okay, well then I am up to the north end. Then I guess I haven't gone as far south then, because I did open up Redding and Klamath. You mentioned the two towns that I've been to.
Yeah, Redding's only a couple hours from the Oregon border.
Oh wow, way up north. So how do you play Fallout London on an old Mac? Let's make it happen.
No, there are limits.
No.
Probably not.
Yeah. Strip out all the parts.
Replace them with new Windows.
And then load Windows on it.
There you go.
Yeah, Klamath, that's where the Golden Gecko is, right? Like, Klamath is a pretty big town.
Mm-hmm. Well,
okay.
I don't know. I don't have anything to compare it against. I've been to there and like the Den.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the guy I was trying to rescue, he's still stuck in there. Lou also mentioned, there's a trick side way to get that guy out, but I'll let you figure it. I'm like, come on, Lou, just tell me, help a brother out. So, I'm still just very slowly dipping my toe into Fallout 2. But having a good time. I mentioned I got stuck in a town that's like, how they have, like, if you look at the edge of the map, they have like a different colored segment of the map, and that
I guess like the reddish area.
It means like, okay, you're now gonna leave town or whatever. There's one town I'm stuck in and I can't get out of, and like up in one of the corners there's this Mr. Handy robot that you can interact with, and so I of course did a save before doing this, but then like I tried to talk to it, then I like killed it, and then like it was fighting it and stuff. The robot, it's amazing. I wish the ratio of the robot size was the same in today's games that is back in Fallout 2, because it looks like the Mr. Handy is like twice as tall as like a person. Like it's just like this gigantic robot. It's really fucking. It's bigger than.
I think it's supposed to be human height, but yeah, it's a little
it's
high.
huge. It's bigger than a sentry bot, But it's those are really fun. So I'm trying to get out of this town, and I keep running out of this corner. I'm like, oh no, this is the way out. This has got the different colored texture, and it's like, no, it just keeps taking me back to that damn robot. So I think I need to go south. I keep going north. Ugh. Maps are confusing. What else did I get into? Instead of gaming a lot this week, I've been setting up my old stereo equipment. I mentioned a couple weeks ago I got a old record player, which I sort of got working for the most part, and I decided I need to play some old CDs. So I was like, man, how do I play CDs anymore? I don't really have a CD player. I was thinking, oh wait, we have an old Blu-ray player that we never play movies on anymore. So
yeah, it might actually work.
It does. It plays CDs beautifully. So I snatched that away and hooked that up, and I was like, tape player, okay? So I've got all these like little handheld tape things, but they all kind of sound kind of crappy. But I was like, and I've found my old Tascam home studio 4-track cassette recorder that I used to record on, 30 years ago, back when I first started recording songs.
I had one of those too.
Oh, they're awesome. Did you have the MK424? Oh,
I think that was the second one. I might have been the 824. So the first one I had, you could only record 4 tracks. The second one double striped, so you get 8 tracks on a standard cassette. Yeah.
So I busted that out, and it sounded kind of crappy, and the faders were all sort of crunchy and stuff. So I took it apart and blew it out real well, and got some contact cleaner, whatever that's called, for electronics, where you can spray and
totally.
So I got some contact cleaner and sprayed everything out, and ran the faders up and down real good after juicing them up, and did all that, and found an old tape head cleaner kit and everything. I was like, wow, this is awesome. But it was really fun because it turns like the wheels of the tape, and it has this little brush thing with you put lubricant on it, and it goes and it literally cleans your little magnetic head. I was like, this is so cool. But
Such a blast from the past. Oh my god,
man, I'm playing with all this 30, 40-year-old, 50-year-old stereo. My record player's from 1975. How old is that now? That's 50 some years old now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good lord.
Well, the way when you think about it, cassette players are the most analog digital has ever been, right? Because there are all these solid parts you're doing, cleaning with brushes and all that.
But so that's been a kick, but that's what I've been working with, and I bought a little audio switcher, so I've got everything hooked up all through. So my last part will be getting a cable long enough to run from the computer to the stereo, so I can play songs from just sitting here at the computer if I want to.
That's how we all have our music these days, or a lot of us. I shouldn't say we all.
Yeah.
I've got a suitcase full of tapes, and I've got a box full of CDs I still have. I mean, I sold most of my CDs, but like you're saying, we don't really use them. The home stereo system, remember people had when we were kids? That really is kind of a thing of the past.
Yeah, I've kind of recreated an old stereo stack system, but not all in one piece, like the old component systems.
Ray, do you still have a serious home stereo? I do, but it's my entertainment center, so there's no CD or tape deck or anything. If I want to play a CD, I'm pop it in the Xbox maybe.
No. I mean, I still have an amp, that I run everything through, for the TV sound, and, when I had the Xbox hooked up, and, where I used to have a DVD player, but now it just, nothing.
Just kind of happens, it's aged out. Little by little, I stopped using those things. Now I don't even really have them hooked up. Like I still have an HD DVD player in the house. It's stacked in the basement. Andrew laughing at my HD DVD.
I'm not laughing at. I'm just like, that is awesome. That's like one of those collector's items. If you had like a Betamax or something, it's like I had option B that was actually the more successful and the better thing, but for some reason,
Sony Blu-rays were ubiquitous.
Economics decided that the one model was better than the other, but they chose the wrong one for some reason.
They did, but it was a little bit cheaper, and it was in every PlayStation. So
it's always because of porn.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I probably have. I would guess that I have the largest HD DVD collection in Buffalo. No, maybe I own I probably have 60 HD DVDs, which compared to maybe a store or something has more.
Yeah.
Resale place, but I don't know people who have that many HD DVDs still. Quality films like the Dukes of Hazzard movie. any sci-fi from the mid 2000s I might have gotten on HD DVD. Yeah.
Episodes of Fringe.
Choices were made.
Yeah, no, that's great. That reminds me of sometimes I think about my buddy's mini disc collection. Remember mini discs? Oh, those were so cool.
Oh, for sure.
The little hard case with the tiny disc that spin in it. Oh man, fun stuff.
Yeah. At the time, we're like, oh, this is going to be the best for mastering audio. Just put it on mini disc.
Yeah, exactly. The most perfect.
How the turntables.
My friend John collects those laser discs that look like 12-inch records that were big CDs. You've seen those in a long time?
No. Last time I saw one of those was, of course, poetically, someone playing The Wall. They're like, I've got The Wall on Laserdisc. Let's watch it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's probably 25 years ago.
Yeah. He's
my goodness.
A collector of fine items. Okay. Let's see, what we're talking. We are way off base. I'm talking about my stereo.
That's our retro technology. You know what? We got to get into the non-Fallout retro technology once in a while.
Yeah. So yeah, that pretty much covers my stuff, and I just jotted down Gen Con because our good buddy Cannibal Craig, who chimes into the show occasionally, he posted. And Gen Con, for anyone out there who doesn't know, Indianapolis, Indiana hosts one of the biggest gaming and tabletop gaming conventions.
Right.
Lots of fun.
Geneva.
It's tons and tons of people show up. But yeah, it was always a great time, and that's basically Indiana's pop culture. There's PopCon now, but Gen Con was always our everyone dresses up like a character type event. You know what I mean? The Ray's Dragon Con, that sort of thing.
Right, which is really cool because Gen Con was very much about tabletop gaming.
Right. Yes.
Pen and paper role playing, as we used to call it.
Right. Dungeons and Dragons style role playing games. Yep, that's definitely how it got a start, and then board games started getting into it, and now it's just sort of a pop culture event. But there's still lots of gaming. Craig posted they're at fucking Lucas Oil Stadium, or I think, where the Colts play. And it's just the whole field is just set up with gaming table. There's tournaments and stuff going on. It's pretty intense. Cool stuff.
Need to see it. I know they're running a couple tables of the Fallout RPG from Odysseus there, the miniatures version and the regular tabletop version.
I still want to get that.
I mean, when it comes to those games with miniatures, I don't know that I ever play them, but just reading the rule books and stuff.
I would pull them out and I would look at the miniatures and be like, "Ooh, this is cool," and I would be like, "No, you can't touch it, Mo. Get away!" And flip through the manual. Yeah, that totally is what it is. It scratches the same itch I mentioned a couple weeks ago, how games don't really come with books anymore. How you love to sit in the back of the car reading the book about the game on their way home, on the drive home when you bought the game and stuff. That totally scratches that same sort of itch, but it just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, it's that kind of gaming is really fun. I recently found out one of my Starfield friends actually wrote a number of RPG source books, including several of the Doctor Who source books for the Doctor Who RPG from the early 2000s.
Wow, that's fun.
Yeah, I didn't even know. Like, I was talking to him for a year, and then, whoa.
You know, so many
Really cool.
interesting people through all of this stuff.
We all do. I mean, it happens that gamers gravitate towards great games like Fallout.
Like minds, eh? All right.
Exactly.
So yeah, Gen Con, that wasn't really my gameplay, but that's the last of my gameplay. So let's proceed what we get into next here. Oh, it looks like we have received another submission from our good friend Radioactive Rebecca for our segment called Fallout Terminal Velocity.
This is Rebecca, still in Diamond City. Now I'm in the mayor's office. His terminal says, "Welcome back, Mayor McDonough. Appointments, city council meetings. Note to Geneva, clear my schedule of any council meetings for the foreseeable future. See this note from the last session. The city council meetings are suspended for the meantime until there is an emergency. The council expresses full confidence in the mayor's ability to handle all city business. Piper, Public Occurrences Reporter. Note to Geneva, under no circumstances should Piper be allowed in this office. If she continues to press on this Institute crusade of hers, there will be consequences. We need some way to curtail the paper's popularity with people. That poison she's selling is turning everyone against each other, and I won't have it. Couriers. Note to Geneva. Please be sure to send any couriers from Mr. Ao into my office as soon as they arrive. Also, our usual need for discretion in city affairs goes double for this matter. Notes on
Mr.
city
Ao.
business. Water
Mhm.
purifier. Security has petitioned me again about gaining control of the water purifier. They don't believe Shen Kowalski is up to the task. Nonsense, I say. The boy may be young, but free enterprise is an important part of our Diamond City way of life, and I won't have him interfered with. Yes, his concern for safety regulation is a bit lapsed, but that can be dealt with in the usual ways. Security office. Crime across the city is manageable. Need to remind all new security officers to delay any investigations into kidnappings. We don't need to rouse further hysteria into the ridiculous notion that synths are replacing our citizenry. Why, there could be panic at a critical moment. What if super mutants attacked and people were more concerned about who is a synth than protecting our city? No, this kind of talk needs to be suppressed, as the sedition it really is. Power noodles stand. Note to Geneva. Please respond to any petitioners about fixing Takahashi with this prepared statement. Takahashi is a Diamond City cultural institution, and the mayor's office will not be responding to any notion that he is in need of repairs. While we understand that not everyone understands him as well as a born and bred Diamond City resident, we cannot allow such an iconic figure of our great city to be altered in any way. The Wall. Note to Geneva. My current draft of the speech. This should settle things in the minds of the people, I'm sure of it. Diamond City has stood united for over 150 years, and what keeps us united are two things. First is the great green guardian behind me, the Wall, our protector and our saviour from the filth of the outside. And second is our faith and trust in each other, the faith and trust that has given us prosperity, security, and education for every citizen. And while the paper might point their fingers at synths and other ghost stories to drive us apart, we will not betray this sacred trust. Now I want everyone to hear these next words very carefully. I am not a synth. I am the same flesh and blood boy who grew up on these streets, who was born in a shack just down the waterfront from Martha McDonough and Patrick McDonough. And I will not abandon my city due to the heinous allegations of the press. God bless this city. God bless the Wall. House foreclosure. Note to Geneva. I have been informed that the man living in the mostly abandoned West Stands has left Diamond City and will not be returning. Please go through the usual foreclosure procedures, then put a copy of his house keys in the safe.
If you would like to participate in our Fallout Terminal Velocity project, please send your terminals, letters, notes, holotapes to the Fallout feed at gmail.com. There was so much in there.
Yeah.
There was a lot in there that I'm like, ooh, that. Ooh, that. Ooh,
McDonough's terminal.
that.
Yeah.
What?
It's a gold mine.
What does Takahashi do? What does Takahashi know? What does he know?
He doesn't know anything. No, they're just talking about him. I mean, that one was just him being a Diamond City institution. You don't mess.
No. Takahashi knows something, and McDonough doesn't want him speaking English to reveal whatever
Wait.
information he knows.
Oh, do you think that if he was repaired, that it's not just about him saying Nani Kamashu Ha?
He would spill the beans about something.
No, that never even occurred to me.
Yeah. Or at least spill the noodles.
I mean, that's true. He's been there longer than anybody.
Jess, you need to acknowledge Ray's noodle bit. That was awesome.
That was a pretty
That
good
was
doodle bit,
hilarious.
right?
It was a tasty noodle. All right.
But the Justin Ayo reference,
Yes.
I mean, I probably knew when it happened, but yeah, they mentions that if, what did he say? Mr. Ayo into my office as soon as they arrive.
Yeah, it's
Also,
courier.
discretion needs to, goes double for this matter. Like, I'm probably remembered it when we read it, of course, but, you know, he's the head of the Synth Retention Bureau. And talk about a big old clue that he's meeting people from the Institute there. I mean, that's huge. And of course, it goes double. In this case, when someone from the Institute is visiting. So that is a pretty big deal. I also like the fact that 90% of them start note to Geneva.
Yeah.
They're all exactly just how'd Geneva do everything. That's hilarious. I like that he wrote that the town council town council has faith in him, and now that they're no longer needed in decision making, that they have full faith in the mayor. Of course, the mayor would write that. And Piper is not allowed to investigate anything or talk about this sort of stuff. Great. Keep Piper out of the meetings. So that was awesome. And Kellogg, right?
Right.
Talk
Talk about the house in the West
tell you where to
End.
get Kellogg's key from.
Mm-hmm.
So much there in that one terminal. That's awesome.
Yeah. I guess it makes sense being the mayor's office. He has his fingers and everything. But now that speech he had
Absolutely.
for the wall, is that the speech that he gives when you first arrive or shortly after you first arrive and he's on the stand? I don't
Yeah.
think so, right? Or is it the whole
Yeah.
thing? Does he get into the whole I am not a synth, I'm the same flesh and blood during that
Yep.
speech?
Yep.
Okay. Wow. I thought it was the same, but I thought this one maybe a little longer. That's awesome.
Very cool. All right.
It's hard not to walk away and actually pay attention. Let's be honest.
Right. Yeah. Because you're really just there to talk to Abbott.
Right, exactly. And maybe pick a few potatoes. No, I enjoy the whole scene with him up there, but I didn't remember the whole speech. That's awesome.
He said, what if there's a super mutant attack? And that made me think, ooh. And I don't know if I asked this last week or not. Are there super mutants in London?
No, there's no FEV in London
There's
that we
no
know of yet.
FEV, any Brotherhood presence or anything like that? Power armor? Do you see power armor and miniguns and
So
vertebrates?
There are very similar characters.
Okay.
Yeah, there are 20 factions in London, 7 of which are kind of
20?
joinable. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
huge. It's awesome.
But yeah, there is a creature very similar to a super mutant.
I will also,
All right.
spoiler, you may find power armor in London.
Nice. Awesome.
I'm not going to say more than that.
You don't have to. I was just curious if the iconic imagery was, present. You know what I mean?
hmm
Red Rocket filling station. Are they called petrol stations? But is there a different company than Red Rocket? Nuka-Cola is something different. You mentioned last week, right? That they have
Iron Brew. Yeah.
Iron
Love
Brew,
the Iron
right?
Brew.
What were the petrol stations? They're not Red Rocket anymore.
No, it's something different. I don't remember what
Yeah,
it
that's
is.
not top of mind. We mentioned Fesco, like Tesco.
Yeah.
There are a number of other, they got their own brand of cigarettes. They got their own brand of everything. But even the little various, don't get me on items again.
And
because I just love it.
Sainsbury too.
The typewriters, the cameras, the everything is just a little different, and it's perfect. The terminals are different. They're great.
Yeah, Turing computing.
Oh,
Very
the
fun.
Amazon boxes. Lee in chat mentions, I like the Amazon boxes.
Yeah.
Which, for those who aren't playing, they say Vols on, like Vol is in vault, and the big Amazon smile is the Vault Boy smile instead. It's great.
That is cute. Valzon. That's a little
Yeah, it
weird.
doesn't really roll off the tongue.
No, but it looks cool. Well, do you want to visit the Mapital Wasteland, Andrew?
I think that sounds like
I
a
had
wonderful
one. I had one question.
Yes, sir.
So, Jess, you had a female character. Have a female character, correct? So, was Smythe a woman?
Yes, believe it or not. Yeah. Someone who has watched the intro a bunch of times with other people playing. I'm picking up what you're putting down, right?
Yep. So
Was
that definitely
Smythe the man for you?
as far as I am in that story, now that I've cured my lab rat disease,
hmm I found
It's
that
like-
very curious.
I'm like, okay.
Lab rats and rad shrews. You're having a rough time over there.
Oh, yeah.
God, we had railroad spine, okay? It's a really rough time. It's a big
Yeah.
pain spike.
That was easy enough to get rid of.
Yeah, I hear you just talked to a therapist, right?
Doctor.
Doctor.
The
lab rat was a little more involved.
their version of the railroad is called the tube.
They have trains. And yeah, the tube is the London Underground. There's a whole London Underground map.
But I meant like to go get your deliverer gun. And
No deliverer.
shoot your railway rifle, but it's really the underground rifle. I don't even know.
And the exploration is great. But I will say that things are a little more locked off. So as much as you can go everywhere, you do have to, like Ray's talking about, finding ways to get through various areas of the wall. And there's more of a maze at times. You know how in the Fallout 4 Commonwealth, you can basically just walk around any building and keep going anyway. Occasionally you come across something impassable, but then it's not too hard to go far enough to walk around it. London does have open areas, but it is a lot more, it channels you a bit more
Okay.
when you do play.
Like 3 with their giant piles of trash.
Exactly.
There were a lot of places where I was going around in circles saying, look at me, I'm Andrew.
I have no idea where I'm going. Look at me.
Pretending you're in Klamath.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm in Klamath for the 8th time. Oh, look, it's this robot again. Look, kids. Big Ben, Parliament.
Yeah. Oh my God. I made that joke. I was playing State of Decay with a friend on Sunday too. And the quests had us going back and forth between the same 3 locations like 10 times. I just got so annoyed. It was completely a Big Ben Parliament situation.
Exactly. All right.
Anyway.
All right. So let's play a game.
What time is it? Game time! Woo!
Tonight on Mapital Wasteland, we are playing everybody's new favorite game, Fallout London. How well do you guys know the map of Fallout London?
You didn't. You don't know it at all, Andrew. This is so not fair.
So not fair. So not fair. Okay. Well, I know nothing of this. The most I've experienced London in real life is just flying through Heathrow Airport. So I have 0 feet on the ground experience in the town of London.
It's so new for us. I've only discovered like maybe 20 locations at this point.
Well, that's 20 more than I, Jess. 20 more than
Fair.
I.
Okay, let's go.
All right. So chime in with your names. Which is further north, Waterloo Bridge or Trafalgar Square?
Jess. Trafalgar Square.
Trafalgar Square is correct. Good job. Which is further south, the Tennis Museum or Biggin Hill Airport? Biggin Hill Airport.
I'm going to go Ray Biggin Hill.
Jess, would you like to steal? Of course. It's the other one. Of course, it's the other one. Sorry, Ray.
No stealing in this one.
I haven't found the tennis. I have found the airport. It's pretty far south, I thought, for sure.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's the one settlement you're talking about setting up, right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. Which is further east? The Biggin Hill Airport or London Bridge?
Jess. Biggins Hill.
Yes, exactly. Good job, Jess. All right. And last, which is further west? Wimbledon. Not Wimbledon.
Try again.
Wimbledon Park Lake or Lambeth Walk? Wimbledon Park Lake or Lambeth Walk? Which is further west?
So is that walk as in W-O-K and you get delicious noodles there?
Yes, exactly. No, W-A-L-K. Lambeth Walk.
Okay, I'll guess so that Ray has a chance to steal. Jess. I think Lambeth Walk.
Oh, she
further
nailed
west.
it, Ray. You got destroyed on this week's version of the Map Little Wasteland. Thanks for playing.
I love maps, but we haven't explored it much yet. But I have at least looked at the whole map, which Ray probably has.
Well, you better get to knowing because that's all it's going to be for the next 8 weeks is intricate and unknown locations on the Fallout London map. The little
take it from Andrew.
You
don't even know what you're talking about to make a game.
where the tourists don't know, only the locals know about these places.
Beautiful.
All right, you guys. Thanks for playing. Let's see what we got on the docket. Probably, I'm guessing, Iguana Bits coming up here. Oh, what a surprise.
Jessica, to the office, please. Jessica, to the office. Your Iguana Bits are ready. Please come pick them up. Thank you so much, Jess. Don't mind if I do. Yes, I am hungry for some super tasty Iguana Bits. I've got a few for you. Honestly, Andrew said galore. It's a pretty sparse week. I had to dig to find much to talk about. But let's talk about some of the important things.
Don't undersell yourself.
Well, the map is fixed. Thank God Fallout 76 is saved. So we had talked last week about the map issues, which I hadn't really experienced yet. How the map was, every time you opened it, went to the upper left-hand corner. You couldn't see challenges.
Oh, yeah.
It would sometimes hide player icons. Sometimes would show, sometimes hide. It would just completely messing up. There were even sometimes you couldn't see location. Well, I hadn't had this because I'd been playing on mostly private. But while I was cleaning up the scoreboard this past week, Sunday, Monday, I definitely found it was a real pain in the ass. So, yeah, it would open up and it would just zoom to the upper left. And it was difficult. It has been fixed. So that is good. However, in fixing it, as they often do, there was a brief time where there was an error where people couldn't log in for a good several hours. But that has also been fixed. So, yeah, the patch notes for this one fixed an issue that forced the map to not center on players, fixed an issue that prevented icons from appearing on the map, and stability improvements. So that was the entire update that they wrote, but hey, they fixed it. So that is good. And
there was much rejoicing.
Hey, there are now Doctor Who mods for Starfield. Suck it, Star Wars fans. No,
Take
but that. 50% of mods released for Starfield from Star Wars, it seems. Not that many, but there's been so many Star Wars mods. Finally, you can get Daleks and such in Starfield. I haven't even installed it. I just saw them. I thought it was cool. I had to share.
Are those the robot things from Doctor Who?
Yeah, the big old robots exterminate.
Right,
Those
right.
ones.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a
I mean,
big
they're
enough
probably
reference
more.
that even I know what they are.
Exactly. Iconic. Truly iconic. One would say as iconic as R2D2 and C3PO. One might
Hey.
say.
Hang on there a minute. Yeah,
Here in
more
London.
iconic than what's his name? Data? Is that right?
Yeah. You call him Data and mm-mm.
Data. Is
Data.
that, oh no, it is Data. Okay. Yeah, see, I don't know. Was he, let's see, Next Generation?
Yes, next
Yeah,
generation.
all right.
Lee in chat says Dada. No, not Dada.
Dadaist.
Although, yeah, there you go. So let's see. I'm pulling up the calendar. What is on the calendar? Well, here's the exciting thing coming up. QuakeCon is next weekend. There are going to be QuakeCon events streamed and possibly maybe some in-game tie-ins from August 8th to August 11th. So that's coming up next week. Currently, starting August 6th, so that would be on Tuesday, we're doing the Pioneer Scouts Uncharted Lands Challenge. We don't know what that is yet. It hasn't been described.
Oh,
It's
fun.
not in the update notes. It's not in the test server. So it could be find locations. It's probably, usually when they do those, it's either a scavenger hunt or, just complete a special challenge each day while wearing an outfit. You know how those go. So it might be one of those. But yeah, keep an eye out for next Tuesday, the Pioneer Scouts Uncharted Lands Challenge. And then QuakeCon after that.
That's fun.
And in another week, we're going to have a Mothman Equinox back. But that's not for, a good week and a half from now.
Is QuakeCon still a physical event where people go to, or is it now sort of like a digital thing?
So QuakeCon is held in Grapevine, Texas this year. There were 3 years where QuakeCon was basically virtual. During those couple of years, obviously during the pandemic, they were not holding regular QuakeCon.
Right.
And actually, we hosted a bunch of events online. We did it all on Twitch. Got to do things like Nuke Shine runs and all that. Last year was the first year it was actually fully open back up to the public with a physical location. They were talking about doing it 2 years before, but I don't think it happened. But last year and now this year, and this year it should be back to full size.
Nice.
It's very focused. We talked before about how it's very community focused, originally around, Quake and all the id stuff, Quake and Doom and such, but now kind of all Bethesda properties. So they have a big LAN center, bring your own computer and set up.
Oh, that's fun.
You pay to rent a table and you can set up, bring your computer, you set up, and you've got this
Oh,
giant
that's all
LAN
good.
party
That's
right in the
cool.
middle of the convention.
That's great.
Yeah, it really is. But there's a main stage, there are events, there are panels at this point, all that. A couple of cool things happening, actually. There's going to be a Milepost Zero panel. Milepost Zero is the next major Fallout 76 update, for those who might not remember, coming probably September. We don't have an exact date. We know that it's at least going to be by October, but we don't have a date on it yet. But we know that, they're bringing back Mischief Night and a few things with it.
Ooh.
I'm checking the listing. Yeah, sometime in September, we're getting Milepost Zero. But anyway, 5 p.m. on Friday, they're going to do a panel on that, 5 p.m. Central Time. And my friend Ken from Chat of Fallout 76 podcast is co-hosting that live at the event. So that's awesome. It's
Very
great because,
cool.
yeah, it's one thing hosting it virtually, but getting to be there live on stage is great. And speaking of which, my friend Renee is actually hosting the other thing you might want to tune into on Saturday, the camp competition. So Bethesda announced a big summer camp competition I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, and you to submit your summer camp on their Discord. They've gotten well over 200 submissions. They're going through some finalists, and then they're going to take a look at the finalist camps and, pick a winner. I think they're getting 20,000 atoms. Top of my head, you guys, I apologize. Usually I have those notes, but I'm pretty sure it's 20,000 atoms. It's a big deal.
20,000. Is that, wait, let me move a decimal place. Is that $200 worth of
Basically $200.
$200 worth of atoms? Holy shit.
Yeah, it's huge. Okay, you know what? I want to be correct here. So let me just quickly open it. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. That will be on Saturday afternoon. So tune into both. And usually it starts Thursday. So there will be a bit of a keynote talk In the past, people like Pete Hines have given it or whatever. Pete Hines, of course, is retired now. Not sure who will be doing it this year. But we'll get some good info. We may get some dates on things. It's possible we even get the date for Starfield Shattered Space there. But that's more likely going to be at Gamescom. And Gamescom, of course, is coming later in the month of August, where we're going to get big reveals and get a chance to look at a number of the games coming this year. Along those lines, games not coming this year. Avowed just got delayed today.
Oh no!
I mentioned to people before, Avowed is my most anticipated RPG for this year. I mean, besides, of course, Fallout London, I suppose, and the Shattered Space expansion for Starfield.
Not anymore.
First
It's not.
regular game. Yeah. So it's Obsidian's fantasy RPG, and it's been delayed until February 18th of next year. So if Avowed was on your list to play, I'm going to wait till February.
Oh no!
I know, but Xbox has a tons of Xbox has a ton of games coming this fall, So I'm gonna have plenty of RPGs. With Dragon Age coming out, we don't know the date yet, but soonish. Starfield, other things happening. Plenty to do.
Have you looked at the big Christmas lineup coming up yet, or is it still too early to look at that sort of stuff?
Big Christmas lineup for games.
Yeah. What games are coming out?
Yeah, so the holiday season, there are a number coming out as always, but the thing is, many of them aren't dated. And so I was kind of thinking of the Xbox showcase and others that we know the general times things are coming out. Like, we know Call of Duty is October, but a lot of the ones I'm waiting for, Dragon Age and other expansions, we don't have exact dates yet for.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we have a general idea of big games coming out this season.
And
one big one.
Yeah.
Star Wars Outlaws comes out later this month, which I was telling you about.
Right. That sounded fun.
Yeah, it's going to be big. And Assassin's Creed, the new Assassin's Creed, looks really good. The one that takes place in Japan. I mean, there's a bunch of games, so I'm excited about all that.
Sweet. And
but for me, it's the RPGs.
Are you involved in the QuakeCon at all?
Not this year. Not this year, because it's an in-person thing and no longer virtual.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if they were doing more virtual events, I might have pitched in to help out, but
Where is it? Is it in Bethesda?
It's down in Grapevine, Texas.
Oh, you said that already. Grapevine, Texas.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's basically Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But going to be some great competitions. So for tournaments, for Bring Your Own Computer, like I mentioned, there's a huge LAN party. Things they're playing, obviously Quake, but they're doing big Rocket League competitions with the entire, floor.
Is that the soccer car game?
Yeah, the soccer car game. You got it.
That's awesome. I should try that.
That's
That
most
sounds
of it.
silly and fun.
They've got something called Midnight Guns. I don't know what that is. If it's like a Midnight Suns or
I
don't
have
know.
2 guns.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the
One
list.
for
So
each of
no
you.
big news there, but tune in next weekend. We'll probably have some big news next Friday night. Or maybe it's just going to be fun.
All right.
Community stuff. We'll see.
Likelihood of a castles drop.
Oh my God. Possible. Andrew.
No way.
Possible.
Really? No way. Really?
Yeah. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if they were going to do it, this event or Gamescom, if they want to make a big splash, finally would be a perfect time to do it.
Fallout 4 on Switch?
You're pushing it now.
So, okay, you guys, it is $20,000. So it's not just $20,000. There are 3 categories for the camp contest. The Super Duper Pioneer, basically a summer camp, 20,000 Atom reward. The Innovative Pioneer, so a kind of unusual summer camp, like not just summer camp, but also like stuff around it, 20,000 atoms. And then there's the abstract category, another 20,000 atoms. So yeah. And all 15 semifinalists for the competition are getting 5,000 atoms apiece. So they are giving away math, like 120,000 atoms. So many atoms. It converts that to currency. That's like $1,200.
That's like real money.
No, that's kind of the thing here. Atoms are actually fake money, except, when you look at my bank account and then they're very, very real.
Then they turn into real money somehow pretty darn quick.
It's a whole conversion thing.
Beautiful. Did
But
we have
that
any other items?
is pretty much it. Looking at Bethesda.net, yeah, the Atomic Shop. Oh, there's some fun items in the Atomic Shop.
Ooh.
Speaking of atoms, they finally have a Super Duper Mart bundle this week. You can actually build the Super Duper Mart of your dreams. Have you seen this, Andrew?
I have not. I did go on in last week and got some of the building sets that you said were pretty cool. So I invested in a couple of those. But
yeah,
no, I haven't seen the
fort
Super
one.
Duper Mart yet. No.
The fort one though, did you got the Fort Frolic or whatever they called it last week?
Whichever one, like you said, had vertical building capabilities or something. There was
so there's a stair that is crooked
right.
stairs in a single space, so you can actually just put it in one corner and get up without having to worry about access.
Yeah, I made sure to get that because that sounded cool.
There's a Super Duper Mart prefab, Super Duper Mart letters, which actually glow. Like the letters can turn on and glow.
Oh, good. Does it count against your light budget?
Oh, I think they probably do, but I don't know because I haven't bought it. I just came out Tuesday and I hit level 96 on the scoreboard and I haven't logged into 76 since Monday.
I always love those weird items that don't count against your light budget for some reason, even though they're obviously lights.
Oh, we love those. Those are our favorite items in the game. Plasma balls and little hanging lights. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely love that. But that's it for the bits.
All right. Thank you for the bits. And I don't know. Do you guys have anything else that you would like to get into tonight before we roll into our scorecation shouts? Well,
Feeling good.
Yeah. All right. In that case, we should get into some scorecation shouts. Who do we have who hit scorecation this week, Jess? Did anybody chime in?
I already got my 96% shout, so I don't need another.
Scorecation!
I'll give you a full one just because.
I'm thinking Stiligor hit scorecation on PC after doing Xbox the other day.
Oh, yeah?
Scorecation!
There you go, bud.
Excellent.
Just in case.
And he did, yes, confirmed in chat.
Confirmed. Attaboy. He gets a
Don hit
double one
scorecation?
because, hitting it on multiple platforms. That's just impressive, you guys.
Yeah, but I don't know anyone else who has tagged us in on scorecations the last little bit, but congrats to those doing it. It's funny. There was a rumor going around on Facebook a day or two ago from... So, you know how the season started a little sooner than people expected in June, we knew it was coming, but some people didn't expect it to be like till the 25th or whatever. So this one person predicted it. So they're very proud of themselves. And they're now trying to predict that the next season is starting August 5th because of the countdown timer on your Fallout First items and such. I'm not going to say I'll eat my hat if it happens, but it won't. The season's switching in September. What it is, the Xbox calendar right now, for whatever reason, they're having, because of the way the week's set up, the week is, the next month they're having start 8/5. And so that's why it's like that on the Fallout First items too, for the Tuesday. Just has to be the way that the cookie crumbled, that's all. But so if you see someone saying the next season starting at 8/5, I'm sure it's not. It's going to be September.
September 5th? What?
No, we don't know yet. We don't know.
All right. Better not. Well, shoot, it's not like I am going to scramble and get it done at this point anyway. You want to take a bet? Do you think I can do it?
Yeah, I think you can.
Let's do it. I got August, and you don't know when the deadline is, so.
You've probably got 5 weeks, maybe 6, I would guess.
Jeez, piece of cake.
Yeah.
Cakewalk. I'm going to wait 2 or 3 weeks and then try.
I mean, give yourself a challenge.
Hopefully the inspiration starts.
Only other thing I had in my shouts is a bit of a negative shout, but I just wanted to say RIP to Game Informer. Game Informer was shut down earlier today, the magazine and website for video games. And, there have been any number of closures in the industry, some media, obviously plenty of studios and such, but Game Informer was a bit of a surprise. They've been an institution for a long, long time. Anyone who's been a GameStop shopper and, got their GameStop membership, you were getting stripped in the magazine. And great crew there. They had slimmed down in recent years due to cuts and stuff at GameStop. But I believe there were about 13 employees. And yeah, they just found out that they no longer have a job there. So hopefully they can all land on their feet, find something else cool. And, thanks for the memories and being like the last man standing in the world of actual print magazines, for video games I could hold in my hand and flip through. As recently as even like, I think my subscription last ended around 2018, but I remember sitting on my porch still, at this house with my Game Informer and an iced tea, just reading on the porch. Physical magazines, pretty great still. So, yeah.
Pretty great.
Just want to shout out for all the years of content. I think about 14 years they were around.
Do you have any favorite memorable articles over the years that stand out from Game Informer?
Well, it seems kind of funny because they most recently had Dragon Age Veilguard as their cover story last month. But the Dragon Age reveal for Inquisition, they had an amazing cover story too, 10, 11 years ago. And it was a great first look. I remember that one.
Did you say when they started?
I think it was 2010 or 2011,
Okay.
but it might have been earlier than that. But at least then.
Do GameStop and Game Informer share like a mother company or anything like that?
GameStop owns Game Informer and has for a long time now.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what? The YouTube channel started in 2011, but I think Game Informer's been around a good bit longer than that. So yeah, 33 years. There we go. I knew when I said that I was wrong. No, the YouTube's been up since 2010, but the magazine around 33 years.
Wow. Since the 90s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Any favorite writers or anything come from Game Informer?
There have been a bunch who moved on to other things. Mike Futter, someone I really respect, games journalist. I really like him. He still works in games, but he does consultancy now and more gaming business journalism and such. Oh, God, so many others. I mean,
cool.
There's been a lot of people through there. Some people know Leanna Rippert. Leanna Rippert was there for, I think, 3 years probably. She's a great writer on a number of things. And I mean, she does host and community management and stuff too. But she did some great Mass Effect articles. Yeah, I really like her. A whole bunch. I mean, there are just so many.
Thank you for your service, Game Informer. You will be missed. All right. Any other topics you guys like to get into this evening? Then in that case, I'd like to remind you, you can find Ray at RayLB on Twitter or in our Discord. Also, his show, at BBC ISSS, for all your No Man's Sky needs for the Butcher, Baker, and Candlemaker in space. Ray, thanks so much for hopping on.
Good times.
Jess can be found at Sleep4T, also at Dames Who Game, and at You Wastelanders. Jess, thanks so much for hopping on this week.
Hip, hip, cheerio. Oi, governor. I'll see you out in London, eh?
We're doing that now. All right. Ray, it's your turn. You get to sign off. You want to give us a cheerio? No.
A little ta-ta, tatty bye.
A little wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more. All right. Okay. You can find me by joining our Facebook group, and the podcast can be found at the Fallout Feed. I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of the Fallout Feed. We will see you in the Wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the Wasteland.
SCP space 1.1 space 1.8 space 1.06.
I am not a synth.
Chunky style with gravy,